There's always the question from which distillery this whiskey might come. Welcome to Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. My name is Lüning, Horst Lüning. I'm the master taster of Whisky.com, and today we have another Peat Beasts single malt whiskey here on my cask. And the Peat Beasts have 3 bottlings today. The first is an extremely smoky single malt whiskey with a moderate ABV. The second one is cask length, the same bottling, or the same content. And this one is additionally finished in Pedro Ximenez sherry casks. Unchill filtered, 54.1 ABV. Pedro Ximenez sherry wood finish. Pedro Ximenez, well, Pedro Ximenez, Pedro is the Spanish translation of Peter, and Ximenez means Siemens. You know this small and little electric company called Siemens? That's the same name, but they are, the Pedro Ximenez was already active in the 18th century, and the Siemens Corporation was founded a lot later. So they have nothing to do with those people. Intensely peated, a ferociously full-bodied single malt whiskey packed with a big bite of untamed peatiness. Yeah! Cask strength. Peat Beast isn't for the faint-hearted. Full-bodied, rich and intense, this single malt whiskey is monstrously peaty, yet seriously flavorsome, now with a limited edition finish of sherry wood by Pedro Ximenez. So it's a limited edition, and there's always the question arising. Oh, wonderful. I have friends, they have a wooden oven, and in their chimney they have a box for smoking hams. And when they put hams in this chamber, the smoky chamber, then they look very carefully not to fire up the oven with a newspaper, but only with wood and with dry wood. And then after 6 or 8 weeks, the ham is extremely intense and smoky. And this smoky ham was that present on the nose, extremely wonderful. There's always the question from which distillery this whiskey might come. And be told that the famous distilleries from Isla's south coast typically do not give any cask outside of the corporation. That's finished long ago. For a Beaumont, this one is far too smoky. So this one is also gone. Kalila stopped selling casks in bulk. So the only distillery left over is Bunnahabhain, and Bunnahabhain, well, they sold quite young whiskey to independent bottlers, and they also experimented in from 1997 on with extremely peated malt. And I would suggest this one is a Bunnahabhain, but I'm not sure. Nobody can be sure, because casks develop differently, and you can't tell this must be from that and that distillery. So what you can tell is the peat level is that high that you can say Beaumont is no-go for this, and you know which distilleries do no longer sell casks. So this one has to come from another one, so Bunnahabhain is left over. This is stinky peaty, really. extremely. And it takes quite a long time until the smell shows something different than peat smoke. Now there's a little bit of sweetness in the back. Some sherry notes coming up. Pedro Ximenez is a sherry where the maturation is stopped quite early, so that there is a lot of residual sugar. And from this small ABV in the wine has gained so far, they lift it up by adding brandy to these 19-20% ABV of the sherry. This is filled up with brandy to produce that high ABV. And the Pedro Ximenez sherry, there's an article on Whisky.com where we describe these differences in the different sherry cask maturations. So you can read everything there. It's not too much behind the smoke. So this might be quite a young whiskey. A little sweetness, a little probably burnt sugar. Yeah. I haven't added water, haven't I? No. So not to burn my lips with the intense alcohol. Let's bring it a little down. Just below 50, well above 46. So somewhere in between this sample will be. Opening a little bit. Intense smoke. Yeah, who thought of that? Then a little vanilla, probably an orange picked with cloves. Yeah. A little vanilla, but not more. Very smoky, covering your mouth with peat. And an aftertaste, a little bit of a metallic note. Yeah. I think this is a young one, 3 to 5 years old. The problem is, if you want to have extremely smokiness, you have to bottle the whiskey fast, because the phenols which lead to this smokiness are only partly oxidized. And if you mature this whiskey for a longer time and the cask breathes and the oxygen from the air is oxidizing the phenols further and further, then the smokiness reduces over the time. So a 30-year-old smoky whiskey will have lost 2/3 of the smokiness, which converts into complexity. But you lose by oxidizing. And this one is extremely smoky, and so oxidization hasn't taken place. Smoke. A little bit of sweetness, yes. But the Pedro Ximenez, I'm not really able to find it. If you have to compare the Pedro Ximenez finish and the normal Peat's Beast, which is from refill hogsheads and bourbon casks, then you might find the sherry. You might find the sherry because the other one would lack it. But here the sherry is pushed down below the smoke. Yeah. Yeah. This is well, the limit for me in terms of smokiness. There are peated whiskey on the market with 100 or 150 ppm of peat level, and those are not for my mother's son. No, not at all. So I like smokiness, I like distinct smokiness, but this one here is the limit. Thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned, there's more to come, and feel free to ask questions in our forum and leave your comments to this bottle in our whiskey database.